These are the best graphic settings in Modern Warfare 3 to not only double your frame rate but maximise visual clarity, allowing you to see enemies in those dark, ratty corners. First of all, you want to open up your graphics settings tab and head over to the visual page. Here you'll want to head down to upscaling/sharpening, where you'll want to select NVIDIA DLSS. However, if you're on console, you won't have this option, just keep it as is. But you PC players, make sure you pick the balance preset, as the performance setting just looks terrible. And then over to sharpness, whack this all the way up to 100, otherwise the image will again look terrible. Over to VRAM scale target, crank this all the way to 90, as this will allow your game to use more of your graphics card than the base preset allows, giving you some significant increases in frame rate. This next one is a big deal for your frames and can lead to some pretty massive gains. Head down to NVIDIA DLSS frame generation. You'll want to turn this one on, but will only be available to you if you have a 40 series graphics card. Moving down to details and textures, for texture resolution, change this down to low, as this will massively improve your frame rate. Onto texture, filter, anisotropic, change this to low. Depth of field, turn this off, as this blurs out a lot of your on-screen view when you're aiming down sight, which can lead to you missing tons of enemies. For detail quality, turn this to low, and do the same with particle resolution. For bullet impacts and persistent effects, make sure you turn both of these off. And then for shader quality, you want this on low too. On-demand texture streaming will want to be turned off, as this has traditionally led to a lot of ping spikes and frame rate drops, so make sure that this is off. Whereas on local texture streaming right here, this only affects the larger maps, so you can go ahead and turn this to low, but for the 6v6 maps, you probably won't see much of a difference here. Onto shadow and lighting, turn shadow quality to normal, as you'll want to be able to see some definition in the shadows to help you see enemy players' shadows. This is especially useful in maps such as Favela that have multiple floors. For screen space shadows, turn this off, as it will get rid of shadows on guns and players, leading to better visibility. Ambient occlusion and screen space reflections will also want to be turned off. For static reflection quality, this wants to be put to low. Onto environment, for tessellation, put this to all, as it means everything in the map renders in properly, giving you better vision at range, whereas it can lead to some quite bad inconsistencies at those longer ranges, so you really don't want that to happen. For terrain memory, I have this on max, as it will lead to less frame drops when progressing through to different parts of maps on larger ones. However, if you have a graphics card without much VRAM, then turn this down to minimum. But for reference, I have a 12GB 4070, so it can handle this, but if you are sporting a 6 to 8GB card, then consider lowering this. For volumetric quality, turn this to low, as whilst this makes things look more cinematic, it can obscure your vision in some cases. Deferred physics quality wants to be turned off, as water is notorious for lowering frames in a game, so you'll want to limit that as much as possible here. For weather grid volume, turn this to low, and for water quality, put this on default. As previously mentioned, water is a big task for GPUs. Now heading over to view, change your field of view over to at least 100, as this allows you to see more on your screen. Personally, I sit on about 110, but anywhere around this is fine. ADS field of view wants to be on affected, and both the weapon and vehicle field of view wants to be set to wide. This just means your weapon and vehicle are going to take up less space on your screen, allowing you to see more of what's actually going on. For the camera settings, world and weapon motion blur want to be off, so you can clearly see enemies whilst looking around. Film grain needs to be set to 0, otherwise your screen will have a grainy look to it. First and third person camera movement wants to be put to least, as this will stop your screen from shaking around so much. And the last one on this section, inverted flashbang. Turn this off, as if you have this setting on, it will make your screen go dark instead of bright, making it much harder to see those campers ratting away in those dark corners. Lastly, you want to head over to the interface settings, as this will help with making everything more vibrant and easy to see. Head down to color customization. You can mostly skip past the interface element colors, but change this up if you want. This is my personal settings. The really important section here is the color filter settings, where you want to change the color to filter 2. This will help with both visibility and allowing you to see more. Then for color filter target, set this to both. Then for world and interface color intensity, again change these all the way up to 100. But if you do want to see the best audio settings for Modern Warfare 3, so you can hear your enemies before they hear you, then click on the video on screen now, but don't forget to like and subscribe for more no nonsense guides.